Now on the Locked On Celtics podcast, the Celtics' biggest weaknesses are now their biggest strengths.
Locked On Celtics pod, home of the winners.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day. Your team is the Boston Celtics, and I talk about them every Monday through Friday. Bonus podcasts throughout the week, on the weekends when they play on Friday or Saturday night, which they're doing this Friday against the Brooklyn Nets, where they could potentially get to 40 wins before they get to 20 losses. That is still in play for the Celtics. This whole podcast is going to be a whole lot of, they're doing what now? So make sure you're subscribed, get the show wherever you get your podcast. It's on YouTube, and it's just everywhere. If you're new to the show, I'm going to introduce myself now. I'm John Karalis. I'm a beat writer covering the Celtics for Sports Illustrated's Celtics on SI. I've been covering the team for about 20 years. I've been doing this podcast for a decade, and I've written a couple books about this team. This is just a whole, like I said, we'll get into the bigs later, continuing the conversation about the bigs. It's just kind of an ongoing thing. But the majority of the show is their defense, their rebounding, and Joe Mazzulla. Like, if anybody is still out on Joe Mazzulla, I can't help you at all. And we're going to do this, the whole conversation here with Tom Westerholm, everybody.
I'm here to make the case that Joe Mazzulla stinks, actually. So let's get into it. I've got a long list of contrarian opinions here. Ime better. It's
Save it. You save it, Tom. What are you doing here?
Yeah,
Ime Udoka. We'll have that conversation. We will have that conversation at some point. Look. The Celtics right now, I feel like the good place where Chidi is helping Eleanor, like in real life. They've gone back down, and she is in Australia, and she's like, well, I wrote down, and what? And then I drew a burrito because I used to pronounce Aristotle's name like Chipotle. Wait a minute. Is it Chipotle? Which is one of my favorite jokes in the whole thing. But that and what is kind of where I'm at with this. I can draw a burrito here somewhere while you're talking. But the Celtics defense right now.
Extra chicken, avocado. All right. Yeah. Okay.
Sure. Flour or wheat?
Flour's good for sure.
Oh, see, I'm a wheat guy. Now, no. Throw the whole podcast away. We're debating wheat versus flour tortilla. In February, Tom, the Celtics defensive rating is 104.3. In January, it was 111.9. For the regular season now, it is sitting at 112.2, which is currently 7th in the league. They had two weaknesses, Tom, coming in to this season. Rebounding, which we'll get to in a second because it's going to be a separate conversation, and defense. Those were the two things they were compensating for. Their offense was going to be good. We knew it was going to be good because they have good players. The defense was going to be a problem because they had the worst front court in the league and blah, blah, blah. And that's not true.
No.
The defense isn't a weakness right now. The rebounding isn't a weakness right now. So this is why I'm going, what? Why? We just watched them play the Lakers, and Baylor Scheierman locked up Luka Doncic. Like, are you kidding me right now? I don't know. I'll ask this question. How the hell are they doing this?
Yeah, I think that what we're seeing right now is, you know how all season Derrick White has been shooting really poorly, and there's just something that just doesn't feel like it's quite right on the offensive end. But like, you know that Derrick White is helping so much on the floor. Even if you were like half watching the game, that just, you can see Derrick White being helpful, even if you're not super paying attention. I feel like I feel like most people who watch the Celtics understand, like, even if I don't totally know the game, I know that guy is doing some good stuff out there.
Yeah.
The defense, the Celtics defense being this good, I think is such it, like, obviously a team plays defense, right? Everybody has to be decent at defense, or you're the Lakers where Luka can just get targeted, or you're any number of teams, right, where there's a guy who you can just pick on, which the Celtics have mastered the art of that. But the Celtics, like, Derrick White is so good at defense, and I think that you just, when you've got a guy like that who can play really good team defense, when you've got a team of guys who know how to work around that, who can all play, who all play hard, who are all super committed, I think that's part of, we're going to get into Joe Mazzulla in a little bit. That, I think that combination of guys, the combination of guys being able to do that is a huge credit to Joe Mazzulla. But I keep coming back to Derrick White, and I mean, what are they? I just looked this up. He's 98th percentile in terms of on-off defensively. Like, he is an all-defensive first-team player, and just deserves that completely. And when you've got a guy like that, of that kind of defensive quality, I think it just, being able to build from that makes such a big difference. So I think we may have, I certainly underestimated that at the start of the season, right? I was, okay, well, there's going to be guys that can get picked on. There's going to be problems all over the court. I mean, Sam Hauser has been a lot better than I thought he was going to be. Obviously, Baylor's been a lot better than I thought he was going to be. Jordan Walsh, Hugo Gonzalez, guys who I didn't necessarily see coming. But in terms of just having a superstar defensive guy, like, Derrick White has turned into that, and deserves all the flowers that you get when your team has been the best defensive team in the league for a month.
Yeah, when you're shooting as poorly as he is, and you're still a monster plus minus guy.
Yeah,
that's like, that says a lot. It says a lot about how good you have to be on the other end and how impactful you are in other ways, right? It's the defense, yes, but also just making the right reads, making the right plays, making guys around you better, crashing the boards, keeping things alive. That is absolutely a part of this. I think you have to start at Neemias Queta. Like, the reason to me that the Celtics defense is as good as it is that everybody that the collective we dismissed has stepped up and played great defense at some point. And it starts with Queta being a monster defending the rim. He just is a shot blocker. And even though I still think he has some deficiencies as far as the quality of how he moves around the floor, and I think he's still, there's stuff that he's working on, but it's undeniable when he's on the floor, the Celtics are a much better defensive team. And then you have, like you mentioned, Sam Hauser. He defends well. Baylor Scheierman. Let me look up the matchups here real quick. With Scheierman as the defender against Luka Doncic. Luka was 3 of 8, so that's 37.5%. He scored 7 points on Baylor Scheierman in 7 minutes of defensive time, plus some 36 minutes of partial. So he spent a lot of time on Luka. The 37.5% and 1 assist. So what that tells me is Baylor played him really well straight up and just was capable. So point is, Baylor against Luka was great. Jordan Walsh has been great. Hugo Gonzalez, no one saw this coming. He's been great. Not 100% of the time, but enough of the time where you're like, okay, How does the Celtics defense get this good? Derrick White, yes, absolutely. Jaylen Brown, yes, absolutely. But Nemi, Jordan, Baylor, all of these other guys who have been getting their opportunities, Josh Minot at the beginning of the season, everybody who has gotten in has been given a tough defensive assignment. They have all taken it, and they have all done at minimum, they've been passable.
Yeah.
Most of the time they've been good, and some of the time they've been incredible. Like, how is this guy doing this? That, I think, is where it all comes together. And then we fold in the rebounding and the coaching, which is all part of it. Let's get into the rebounding, because the rebounding numbers are confusingly good. We'll talk about that when we come back. Today's show is brought to you by Indeed. Workplace chaos, deadlines stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position you have to fill is still sitting open. Now that's when the pressure is on and you need to make the right hire. That's where sponsored jobs from Indeed comes in. Indeed sponsored jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for: skills, experience, location. So you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. You're finding the right person. This is much like putting a basketball team together. You would never expect Brad Stevens to hope to find the right player. He's doing all the scouting. So is Indeed sponsored jobs. And in the minute that I'm talking to you, 27 hires have been made around the world, according to Indeed data. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who actually check off all your boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing the candidates with less stress, less time, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. You will get $75 of sponsored job credit to help your job get the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. You're an everydayer. You're with me every Monday through Friday. You're with me on these bonus podcasts when they come up. Now join the Locked On Celtics Everydayer Club at lockedonceltics.supercast.com. You'll get ad-free audio available on all major podcast apps like Apple and Spotify. You get a members-only Locked On Everydayer Club Discord server, which includes a group chat just for Celtics fans and NBA fans. It's all at lockedonceltics.supercast.com. It's $5 a month, $50 for the year if you want to do that. So go check that out. I'll leave the link in the show notes as well. Tom, the rebounding numbers. You remember the beginning of the season, we were talking about the Celtics just need to not suck at rebounding. That was it. Please don't suck. Please don't have a 61% defensive. Whoops, hold on. Sorry, I've got you muted. Go ahead, say it.
We didn't even say please don't suck. We said please don't be 30th. Like
right.
We were like, if you could be like 23rd, that would be like helpful.
Right.
Yeah.
So in November, they were struggling. Their defensive rebounding percentage was 67%, and it was 26th in the league. In February, I'd ask you to guess, but I already did that before we started recording. 70
and I ruined it by guessing too high.
You ruined it. 74.7% in 7 February games. That is number one in the league defensive rebounding. That is just incredible. That is effort. That is, I think Jaylen Brown has gotten in there, done a lot of rebounding. That's something that we said that he needed to do before the season started. He's doing it now. It's between the defense and the rebounding. This is a team. You said it before we said it. This is a team with all of a sudden no weaknesses.
Yeah.
Good offense, good defense. They rebound. They turn you over. They protect the ball. You tell me, how is Joe Mazzulla not like the lock for coach of the year at this point?
I have no answers on that. I think he should be the lock. I don't see an argument otherwise. Like if you, especially like, okay, to me, either one, Joe Mazzulla is a lock for coach of the year, which is what I think it is, or two, Jaylen Brown is a lock for MVP. And I don't think that's the answer. I don't think that I think Jaylen's having a great season. I don't think he's the MVP. I'm not even like, I don't even think he's, that's just like, maybe he's top 5. Sure. Fine. Whatever. Joe Mazzulla is the coach of the year. This is incredible stuff. And I think we're seeing too, the level of continuity that the Celtics have, even after losing all the players that they have, because we see Peyton Pritchard coming in and just doing the kinds of things that he is so good at, right? Defensively, offensively, obviously, you know, he's a bucket getter. He's great, but he's also just so solid on the defensive end, and he's not perfect, and that's a big part of this Celtics team, right? Guys aren't perfect. Queta is not perfect. Scheierman is far from perfect. These are not perfect basketball players, but they're all just doing good stuff the right way. And that starts with coaching. That starts with, you know, with culture, right? That this team has built. All this kind of like corny stuff that people used to say about the Heat all the time, right? Like it now kind of just applies to the Celtics. It's Celtics. They've built a culture. And, you know, I mean, it's we've talked before about how the Celtics are just an adult basketball team. This is just a bunch of freaking adults who want to win, or just competitive adults. And hey, like, you know, when you've got good talent, that's a great basketball team. And yeah, I don't know, what is their weakness? What I don't see one. They're just out here just very you know, just systematically taking other teams apart. Like the Lakers never really had a chance. But you could just see it, you know, just like piece by piece. All right, here we go. Now it's a 20-point lead.
The Miami thing is the comparison because Eric Spoelstra and the way he is regarded is so like people just say, well, he's the best coach. He's taking over from Greg Popovich. Like everybody just acknowledges that Eric Spoelstra is the best coach. Even though the Miami Heat is just perennially in the 7th, 8th, 9th seed, like, yeah, okay, sure. Like, yeah, he's the best coach. All right. Yeah, that's great. And he is a great coach.
I think he's great. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. But the Celtics are the 2nd seed. And Joe, man, I don't know. This is gonna be very victory lap-ish, but I've been making the comparison to Spoelstra for a while, in that Joe got the job. People were like, okay, it's fine if you're like, maybe, you know, he might be a good coach for a team starting over or whatever, but this is a contender. You can't, no, you can't give him this. And they won pretty quickly. And that became like, well, of course he won. They gave him a stacked roster. Oh, let's see how he does, you know, with that. And, you know, last year was supposedly proof that, oh, he's not a great coach. Now this year is oh, wow, maybe he is a great coach. And there is a lot of fly by the seat of your pants that goes on with this. And there's a lot of like reacting to the you know, what have you done for me lately? But very consistently, the Celtics have been at the top, regardless of who's been in or out. The Celtics have won games with guys being hurt. They have been great on back-to-backs. They have just all these like little things. Whenever you think, oh, well, this isn't going to go their way, the Celtics almost always find a way to make it go their way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like how is this possible? It has to be coaching on top of, look, you have great talent on this team. Jaylen is a great talent. Jayson is a great talent. However you want to rank the two of them, different people will have different opinions, but Jayson, Jaylen, Derrick White is there's a reason why you were gushing about him earlier. He is phenomenal. You have to have the talent.
Yeah.
Like you said, they are adults. They are mature. There's no sniff of any drama anywhere. Even right now, as sports talk radio is trying like hell to drum up Jaylen versus Jayson. They're really trying to dip into that well right now. There's no real hint of drama on this team, and that's part of it. And all of it goes to Joe and Brad and ownership. Like all of it is in line. You nailed it when you said the culture. I just hope that there's no writing on the court in the lane talking about the Celtics culture like Miami did. But it's as far as game day on the court, like it starts with Joe and it starts with the leaders on this team. Joe Mazzulla has to be. I know Bickerstaff and the Pistons are, the one seed and people didn't expect that either, but they expected the Pistons to be good. They didn't expect the Celtics to be good. And like this Joe Mazzulla, you're right. One of those guys has to win something because of this. If Joe's not the coach of the year, Jaylen Brown is the MVP. One of those things is true. It has to be true. And we know that Jaylen's not going to get the MVP. So,
yeah. To the point that I'm like, I think Cade should probably be above him in the MVP voting because I think that Joe Mazzulla is clearly the coach of the year. And I think Jaylen's great. I think Jaylen is elite. I think he's all NBA first team. I think all those things. But I'm sorry. Joe Mazzulla feels like a no-brainer to me. That's the answer. That's the good place. Cheaty getting Janet to eat. There is no right answer, but Joe Mazzulla is the answer. That's the.
Wow, two good place references here. I love that one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what's the answer at center? We'll get to that when we come back. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. You ever want to experience the NBA Finals live and in person? I've done it. It's great. Highly recommended. FanDuel is giving you the chance to turn that dream into a reality with their NBA sweepstakes. Here's how it works. You use a profit boost on any NBA future, and you'll automatically be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for two. So that's everything. That's flights, tickets, the whole experience. If you're already looking to check out the board and see which team can make a deep run or which can grab a conference title, it's a perfect time to lock it in and add like that extra layer of excitement to every game down the stretch. It's going to be an interesting kind of scenario, especially out west with injuries and stuff. So now check it out. Maybe you win and you get yourself a trip to the NBA Finals on top of it. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Use your profit boost on an NBA future to get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. When you sign up, they will ask you to set your limit, set your budget. Do that so you can gamble responsibly and play your game at FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Please check out Locked On NBA and Locked On NBA Game Night. Locked On NBA has all the big stories Monday through Friday on afternoons. And then Game Night is 7 days a week covering every game in the league. So we've got 3 games going on in the NBA. San Antonio beating the Detroit Pistons. Then you've got Utah, Houston, Sacramento, and Memphis. So Celtics gain a half game there on the Pistons. It's all going to be on Locked On NBA Game Night. Tom, we talked about the centers earlier.
Yeah.
This is an interesting place to be. You can make an argument for Queta and Vooch either one can be a solid starter. Either one can be a solid guy off the bench. I think that it might be just a situational thing. We might have a situational like, hey, this like last night against the Lakers, I feel like Vooch, like they made their run and pulled away when Vooch was in the game. They held the Lakers kind of in check when Queta was in the game.
Yeah.
So Queta was like a monster defensively and did some nice things offensively. Vooch was the opposite, did some good, was not a monster offensively. It was really good offensively.
He's so good offensively.
Right. And then he did some nice things defensively.
Yep.
And so that's just going to be an interesting thing. I still believe that ultimately he will be the guy that is paired with Tatum. And whenever like Tatum's going to come back, you tell me if I'm wrong. Tatum's going to come back. He's going to come off the bench. Vooch is going to stay on the bench until then. Whenever Tatum moves into the starting lineup, Vooch will move into the starting lineup with him. And that's just going to be, I think, to me, you pair those two guys together for the most part. You got Queta with Peyton Pritchard. That's your pairing. And like start second quarters with Jayson Tatum, Nikola Vucevic, Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, and Ugo Gonzalez. Or Derrick White. No, Derrick White instead of Peyton. Derrick, Tatum, Vooch, Ugo, and who am I missing? What did I say? Sam Hauser.
Sam, yeah. I could see it. I will say, I think the longer you wait, right? Like if you wait until Tatum comes back and then you wait until Tatum, if you're going to bring Tatum off the bench a little bit, the longer you wait, the closer you get to the playoffs. And at that point, I do wonder, do you really want to upset the apple cart at all? Like, not that when this team has done a phenomenal job of just morphing its situations. Like, yeah, whatever. Peyton Pritchard, like, yeah, I come off the bench now. It's fine. I scored 25 points a game as a guy off the bench. Sure, I just do that. That's fine. Like, they're so good at that. So I don't think it would actually be a problem. But, if you get to like end of March, you're only like a week or 2 or 3 weeks away from the playoffs. Like, is that the time to make that swap? I don't know. Maybe not. Might be fine. I think it's at least something to consider. So when you say, you tell me if I'm wrong, it's like, well, now I feel like I have to challenge you. So there's my small challenge. But I do think, yeah, for sure. But I do think that, I mean, look, man, Vucevic, I'm very impressed with him offensively. Yeah. I love how hard he goes after, like he knows that my job is to set a screen and then move. And he knows I'm good enough that I might get the ball. He's not one of those like diving bigs who's just there for a little bit of gravity for the guard to do something. Like, no, Vucevic is a threat. And wherever he moves, he's got a good sense of like, okay, now I dive. Oh, that didn't work. I'm coming back out. I'm going to set another screen. And now I dive again. He's got all this energy on the offensive end that I just think is very impressive and is going to really, really make a big difference, especially when the Celtics can run Jaylen off a pick, when they can run Pritchard off a pick, when they can run Tatum off a pick, when they can run Derrick White off a pick, and all these guys are just cycling through that movement. I just think that the offense is going to be obscene. Like, I don't know how you're going to be able to stop that because everybody's going to be unselfish. Everybody's going to be moving in smart ways, and everybody's going to be really, really talented at getting buckets. So I don't know. That's my brief Vucevic gushing. He's incredible, man. I wrote on Boston.com yesterday that like it's hilarious how Brad Stevens does this, where he goes and gets somebody to where you're like, that should have just been obvious that this was going to work. Why didn't I just assume that this was obviously going to work? He makes these moves that on paper they seem like they should have been obvious, but then they weren't. They weren't something that you necessarily saw coming. And I feel like Vucevic is just the latest in that line of acquisitions.
Well, yeah. I mean, if as soon as Brad does something, well, like I have just gotten into a place where if I said something and Brad does something different, I'm like, well, that's my I was wrong.
Everything I've ever believed about this guy.
That's right. Right. And like normally, like the normal sports writer thing to do is like, I've seen enough of this game. I know this town. And if you do something that I don't think you should have done, then I'm going to challenge you because you're wrong. I'm right. And like, sometimes I get that feeling, but no, that feeling has hit me with Brad for a while. And now it's hitting me with Joe at this point.
It's so annoying, dude.
It's like, I want to challenge him on things. I want to be like, why did you do this? What that doesn't make sense to me. And the response I should be getting now is like, well, it's because I'm much smarter than you, John. And like, you just don't know what we're trying to do. You can't figure out what we're trying to do unless I pull you aside and tell you everything. Like that's it. Like that's where we are with Joe and with Brad and with everything. Like I have to go up to them and say, why did you do that actually? And get like an explanation and go, oh yeah. Okay. Gotcha. I'm a moron. I'm a moron when it comes to, and you know what? I'm smart, I believe, when it comes to a lot of this. And they are just so much better at this.
Levels to this, man. Yeah, 100%.
Why they're running a team and coaching a team, and this team is flying past expectations, and I am here talking to you.
Yeah,
which is sad.
Yes,
sad.
Anyway, no, I mean it's. Like before the season, I don't, you, hopefully I'm not like saying something I shouldn't say. You said, I don't think you said it on the pod. You said a bunch of times, like, yeah, Joe Mazzulla thinks that this is going to be a really good team this year. He thinks it's going to be a 50-win team. And we were both just kind of like, okay, Joe.
Yeah.
Whoops. Listen, hand up. Our bad. Like, we
all have private conversations with people. Like I'll sit there. If you're at a game, you might see me talking to Brad Stevens. You might see me talking to, like, we'll have like conversations off to the side and whatever. And before the season started, I had a conversation with Joe Mazzulla. I'm not talking out of turn here. And I told him, I think you're a 45 win team, 46 win. He's like, nope. We're at least 50 games. And he laid it out, all the reasons why. This is worth this many wins, and this is worth that many wins. And if we do this, that's worth this many wins. I'm like, the math checks out. I just don't know that you're going to get all of those things. And he's adamant. And you know what? Next year, when I have that conversation with him again, I'll be like, yes, Joe. Yes, Joe. Because I can't do the thing. Like, I'm going to be on the radio in the morning, right? I'm going to be on 98.5. And I'm going to be talking to these guys, and they're going to do their thing, the morning sports talk radio thing of like, you got to challenge these guys and blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to be like, yeah, I'd love to, except they are always right. And it's annoying to me because I like where my brain is basketball wise, but they're always right. And I can't challenge them because it's been proven time and time again that when my opinion differs from theirs, I'm the one that's wrong. Yeah. So whatever they decide to do with Vooch and Queta, this makes for horrible podcasting because I'm just like, I have my opinion, and then they're going to be like, Joe's going to do something completely different. I'm going to be like, oh, and like, whatever. This is how it is. That is bottom line is they're really good at their jobs, and you know
what? So are Vucevic and Queta, also very good at their jobs. So it's going to work out. Yeah.
I'd like to think we're good at our jobs.
We do our best, man.
We're good. We're just like, if we were that good, we wouldn't be here. We'd be there. We'd be there.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, we're no longer here either because this podcast is over. So, Tom, bye-bye.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, Tom. I appreciate you listening, watching, here with us. on a Monday through Friday basis. We got bonus podcasts coming up all over the place that will just show up in the afternoons. So check them out whenever they drop. Friday, Saturday when they play, they're going to play Friday against the Brooklyn Nets. We'll drop a podcast then as well. So make sure you're subscribed to that. And then I would love it if you shared the podcast. Tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.